Welcome to our audio commentary coverage. This broadcast is not an official product of this competition.
Credentials than a trip to the Etihad. As the policeman once said to the gentleman who asked him, "How do I get to Carnegie Hall?" "Well, sir, I wouldn't start from here." Let's give you the team news for this afternoon. Manchester City start with Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. The back four of Adukadir Kusanov, Ruben Diaz, Mark Gahey gets the nod at centre-back, with Josko Vardial moving to left-back, and that's because Nico O'Reilly moves into the defensive midfield positions alongside record summer signing Elliot Anderson. Rico Lewis is the man who they opt to fill in for the injured Jeremy Doku, and he and Antoine Semenyo, who's never lost in a City. I beg your pardon. Antoine Semenyo is on the right-hand side, with Phil Foden chosen to fill in the central position behind Erling Haaland in preference to Ryan Cherki. As for Bournemouth, Jordi Petrovic in goal, the back four of Adam Smith, who captains the side, James Hill, Antonio Silva makes his debut alongside Hill, having come in from Benfica over the summer, with Adrian Truffert at left back. Lewis Cook and Alex Scott fill the defensive midfield positions. Rayan and Marcus Tavernier either side of Justin Kluivert, who is behind Eva Nilsson as the front runner. So we're almost ready for the start of a new Premier League campaign here at the Etihad. Our referee in charge this afternoon is Jared Gillett, the Australian, with Neil Davis and Steve Meredith to assist him on the sidelines. Rob Jones is the fourth official, keeping an eye on the dugouts and their two new incumbents, with the VAR hub occupied by Paul Howard. As for the head-to-head, it doesn't make good news for Marco Rose. City have won all 9 of their home Premier League clashes with Bournemouth, and they've scored 3 or more goals in 8 of those. A very, very tough assignment then ahead of the German this afternoon. Enzo Maresco, of course, ran the Manchester City development side and won Premier League 2 with them back in 2020, and was then assistant to Pep Guardiola. So in many ways, he's the obvious man to have assumed the mantle. However, it's a daunting task. Well, we're going to have a minute's silence, I think. So I'm going to fall silent. In fact, we're having a minute's applause. I'm not quite sure what that is in aid of. I'll try and discover that for you. But applause ringing out around the Etihad Stadium from all concerned. So, a start of applause to the afternoon. Antoine Semenyo, of course, lining up against his old club, which will be an interesting experience for him. He made the move from Bournemouth to Manchester City in the January transfer window, of course. The minute's applause, in fact, is in memory of Kevin Keegan, who the former England, Newcastle manager and Liverpool player, who passed away, of course, over the summer. A very larger-than-life character. Well, Manchester City having a little huddle before the start of proceedings. Interesting to see Rico Lewis on the left. He's been employed in many a different position. Erling Haaland looks like he's sporting a new haircut, which is a pretty closely cropped one, it must be said. Doesn't seem to have left an awful lot of hair in place. But it's going to be Bournemouth who are going to get us underway. kicking from right to left in this first half, and the Premier League season at the Etihad is underway. Antonio Silva plays a long ball forward. It's headed forward, and Uwe Nielsen very nearly got onto that. He was shepherded out the way in the end, and the ball ran through to Gianluigi Donnarumma, but they won the initial header there, Bournemouth, and looked dangerous. But here come Manchester City for the first time this afternoon. Phil Foden pucks the ball inside. It's picked up by Rico Lewis. There's a little bit of smoke, so I don't know whether the flares were set off before the game, but a little bit of residual smoke across the ground. Ball's played out to this right-hand side. Phil Foden's picked it up. He's played the ball backwards, and City have it in their back line. Kusanov gives it back to Donnarumma. Guardiola tried to play it forward. It came off the Bournemouth foot, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side, which is the Manchester City left in this first half. Josko Vardiol to throw it in. He throws it in short to Elliot Anderson. Vardiol gives it back to him, and Anderson sprays a ball from left to right. Lovely ball, nicely taken in by Foden on the halfway line. He has Truffaut in close attendance, and Truffaut has fouled him, says referee Gillett. So the first free kick of the afternoon to Manchester City in the centre circle. Mark Gahey, a lot of people thought that he wouldn't be preferred at centre-back this afternoon. A lot of people thought that Josko Vardiol would play there, but Vardiol's playing at left-back because Nico O'Reilly hasn't been moved into midfield. Gahey, who came in the January transfer window under Pep Guardiola, won't be wanting to lose his place. Here's the first ball forward of the afternoon to Erling Haaland. He holds his man off, lays it through, and a challenge came in, but City still have the ball, and they've been O'Reilly's been penalised for a push in the back of the Bournemouth defender. I think Manchester City are very happy about that decision. He felt that there was an opportunity there for O'Reilly, and that O'Reilly in fact was the one that was challenged from the back. It's well, I didn't see a lot wrong with that, I have to say. I'm not sure that O'Reilly should have been penalised for that, but he was. And it's a free kick to Bournemouth. Long ball forward, which is headed by Gahey into the path of Semenyo. Elliot Anderson gives it back to Ruben Diaz, who's closed down quite quickly, manages to get it up the left-hand touchline. And Erling Haaland has slipped his man and is surging through the centre of the pitch. Haaland to the edge of the penalty area, gives it to Foden, flicked on, shot comes in, blocked by Petrovic. That was a rapier-like counter thrust from Manchester City. It was in the... That's really good play from Manchester City. A rapier-like counter thrust. Goodness me. Lovely touch by Foden in the penalty area as well. Into the path of Lewis. Petrovic out at his feet to block the ball away with his legs, but at the expense of a corner. Corner from the right-hand side. First corner of the game, 4 minutes played. City 0, Bournemouth 0. Phil Foden to take the kick, so it'll be a left-footed in-swinger. In it comes into the heart. Well, it goes to the back post. It's headed back across. And it's headed wide by Nico O'Reilly. He got free just outside the far post, but he headed it down and wide of the target. I think probably his intention was to head it back across the goal into the sort of mixing bowl of the 6-yard box, as it were, but didn't quite get the angle of the header right. Petrovic with the long kick. Vardiol headed forward. Scott, though, gets a head on it. And Rayan looks to escape down the right-hand side. Ruben Diaz comes across to make sure that he can't do that, but He has to concede a corner, a throw-in, which is, I think, just about level with the 18-yard area, maybe a fraction further forward than that. It's James Hill who's going to take the throw-in on this occasion. Long throw into the area. Donnarumma fists it clear. Drops to a City shirt. That's Nico O'Reilly. Plays it up the left-hand touchline. Semenyo keeps it in. Looks to sprint away. Defender comes across. Stands in his road. Blocks Semenyo off. Jared Gillett awards the free kick against Adam Smith, who will know the danger, of course, of Antoine Semenyo. I think he knew that Semenyo had the legs on him. He was just going to make sure that he stood in his road. But that's going to be a tough task for Smith during the course of the afternoon. He's a wily campaigner, but Semenyo's got wheels. So that's a free kick to Manchester City. 3 or 4 yards in from the far touchline, the City left. Probably 25 yards from the corner flag. But it comes from Foden. It's a poor one. It's headed away. Not his best effort, that. City have recycled it, but Semenyo is running back towards his own back towards the halfway line. So he had to play it back into his own half. It's now with Rico Lewis on the halfway line. Just 10 yards in from the near touchline. Here's Ruben Diaz now, just short of the centre circle. Going slow to walking pace for a moment. As City look to prize an opening again. They have the ball with Kusanov. There's been a goal in the other 2 o'clock kickoff between Brighton and Aston Villa. And it looks to me as if Lindelof has put through his own goal for Aston Villa. And so Brighton lead by 1-0. Here's Semenyo playing the ball down the line for Lewis. Lovely cross. Comes to Foden. He shoots. It's blocked. A good block by Trafford. Thought for a minute the cross was going to land on the head of Erling Haaland, and if it had done, that might have been 1-0, because he was getting ready to leap and then realised the ball was going over his head. Here's Elliot Anderson. Short pass. And that's a clattering challenge, which brings the man to his to the floor. So that will be a free kick to Manchester City. They've taken it and it's played out towards Semenyo on the far side. Here is Antoine Semenyo, faced by Smith, so that duel reignites itself. City recycle the ball. They come back to Ruben Diaz. Elliot Anderson connects. So that's a loose pass, a very loose pass from Semenyo. That allows Bournemouth to surge forward. Oh, they didn't make the most of that. Didn't make the most of that at all. Lever Nielsen, I think, went to play the ball out to his left-hand side to Tavernier and missed his kick the first time, and by the time he stretched for it a second time, he couldn't get enough power in the pass, and Manchester City intercepted it. Bournemouth have won the ball back, though, tigerishly, and they have it just inside the Manchester City half on this near side with Alex Scott. Lots of talk about him moving on in the summer, but he remains a Cherries player, at least for now. Transfer window not closed, of course. Some sides in particular might be looking to do some business after results yesterday. Manchester United, I'm looking at you. I don't know whether the Spurs have got any money left. They spent a lot over the summer and ended up getting absolutely dibbed by Brentford yesterday in the London derby, first London derby of the season. Here at the Etihad, here's Rico Lewis, back to Kusanov. Kusanov plays the ball inside to Ruben Diaz. Diaz walks it into the centre circle. Gives it to Josko Vardiol. Okay, he seems to be playing quite a long way forward in this City formation, so I don't know whether he's been given licence to be in more of a midfield area. He certainly doesn't seem to be playing in the back line at the moment. But anyway, Bournemouth have the ball. They have it with Hill. Hill gives it to his centre-back partner Silva. Now here's Alex Scott running forward, tucking it to this near touchline. Traffeur has got midway inside the City half. Plays it back to Silva. 10 minutes played, nearly 11 minutes played at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 0. So Bournemouth have got through the first 10 minutes. One save by Petrovic from Rico Lewis, but other than that, not too many alarms so far. Here is Smith on that far side. Long ball from him into the right-hand channel for Clivett to chase, but City tidy up well. Here's Gehi giving it to Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson lays it off to Kusanov, gets it back from him. Anderson, £116 million signing from Nottingham Forest over the summer. It was a record for all of a month until Chelsea paid Aston Villa $1 million more for Morgan Rogers, who makes his Chelsea debut tomorrow at Fulham in the West London derby. But that's quite a price tag to have on your head if you're Elliot Anderson, particularly as you're probably the man to try and fill the boots of Rodri. It's no easy task. There is Scott once more for Bournemouth. That's a raking pass out to the right-hand side. Rayan steps inside Vardiol, but he holds him up sufficiently. Smith's got down the flank though, puts a cross in, but that's an easy one for Donnarumma, who got his angles right and prevented it going too far across the area. Just grabbed hold of it, just rolls it to Vardiol. City launching another attack down the left-hand side. Here is Nico O'Reilly galloping forward. He's got right to the byline, pulled it back. Haaland! Oh my word! Goodness me! You put your house on Haaland to finish that. He's completely muffed it. Muffed it with the goal gaping. Well, you won't hear that very often this season. Wow. Well, at first look, that was a sitter for Erling Haaland after brilliant work by Nico O'Reilly. And the Viking has fluffed his lines. Massive chance for Manchester City. And Erling Haaland will wonder how he's missed it. He got a left boot to it, but didn't get his body shape right at all. And the chance was gone. And he's out on this near side. Haaland's shaking his head as well he might. It's a great run by O'Reilly. Down the left-hand flank. Got all the way to the byline. Put it on a plate for Haaland. Looking at it again, I don't know whether Haaland got caught between wondering if he should head it or try and play it with his foot, and in the end it's hit him in the chest, in fact. And he's not got enough power on it, and Bournemouth have put it away. They've got a chance at the other end now as we come back live. And Rayan forces a left-handed save from Donnarumma. So having been in a position where they should have taken the lead 1-0, City were nearly a goal down there. Rayan got the wrong side of Josko Vardiol. Fortunately, the angle was acute enough for Donnarumma to get across and put out a left hand and pour the ball behind. So Bournemouth have launched a counter-attack of their own, and it's won them their first corner of the game. On the right-hand side, almost 15 minutes played, Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 0, here at the Etihad Stadium. It's going to be Scott to take the corner, and it comes towards the near post. It's gone back to the kicker. He's laid it back to Tavernier. Tavernier with another cross into the box. Silva got his head on it, but he couldn't direct it back across the goal. and it's behind for a goal kick. Well, that was an incredible miss, an absolutely incredible miss from Erling Haaland. Of all the people in all the world for that chance to fall to, Erling Haaland would have been your pick, and he has missed a sitter. Well, Fantasy League managers who started another campaign this week will be bemoaning that, because he's the most picked captain in Fantasy League, and he has missed a sitter. Well, looks like more trouble for Aston Villa at Brighton. I think they've gone 2 down here. Brighton have scored a second goal, so they've had a glorious start. The Kuiper making it 2-0 after 18 minutes, so Unai Emery has got some work to do there. Bournemouth, as the visitors, have made a much better start here at the Etihad, but they should be behind. Here's Rico Lewis out wide on this right-hand side to Phil Foden, who tries to come inside Trippier, doesn't succeed in getting the better of the young French fullback who had such a good first season in the Premier League. Did Adrien Trippier. Good player. Played in the French team that won the silver medal at Paris 24 under Thierry Henry. You would imagine Thierry Henry knows a good player when he sees one. He is now with Semenyo over the far side. He plays a little diagonal back in the direction of Josko Vardiol. Here now is Elliot Anderson playing the ball out to this right-hand touchline. Phil Foden looking to take on Trippier once more, and again Trippier gets the challenge in, puts it behind for a corner, and Trippier's been hurt in making that challenge. And in fact, Foden is down as well. So both men have had a clash of shins, maybe. Foden went to put the ball in. Yeah, I think they've both clattered a foot into the other one's shin. It's a sore one for both players. Trippier is limping away back to his defensive position. Foden has gone to supervise the corner. Got the assistant in his ear about something or another. Perhaps it's the position of the ball. I don't know why, because they never put the ball in the quadrant now anyway, and most assistants just ignore it. One of my pet hates. Foden swings the ball in, fisted away, not very far. Didn't quite drop for Lewis. There was a clash between Lewis and one of the Bournemouth players, and Lewis is penalised for it. It was Clivert who was competing for that with him. And so it remains 0-0. Marco Rose, who was appointed coach on June the 1st, the 49-year-old German ex-defender, most of his playing career with Mainz in Germany. Arrives after 3 years with RB Leipzig, where he started his career as a player. It's his sixth managerial role, and RB Leipzig's 3 years was the most he served anywhere, so perhaps he doesn't stay anywhere for very long, but he's thought to be of a similar mould to Andoni Iraola in terms of wanting intensity and his teams to play on the front foot, so a good fit. The owners of the Cherries felt. Time will determine that, of course. There's Kusanov giving it out to Ruben Diaz. Diaz, centre of his own half, making his way towards the centre circle. There's Rico Lewis picking the ball up the left-hand side. I think that's not too far ahead of Semenyo. And Smith managed to clear back into City possession, though. There's Elliot Anderson. Another raking pass from him out to the right-hand side, but it was slightly behind Phil Foden. Keep it in. So it's gone out for a throw to Bournemouth. Here's Antonio Silva rolling a diagonal pass back into the path of his goalkeeper. Long kick from Petrovic. Rayan got a head on it, but it's run from edge to City. Mark Gay got a foot in. Broken nicely now for Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly lofts it forward. Cross comes Traffeur to make sure it doesn't land at the feet of Erling Haaland, and he puts it out over the far side for a throw. Rayan has gone down injured, so that will be a cause of concern for Bournemouth. He looks in quite a lot of pain. It would appear to be his left shin. Let's have a look. Well, there was a tangle of legs. I think Gahey probably came in and stood on his foot. Yeah, he did. There was nothing deliberate about that from the former Crystal Palace man, but it would have been a sore one anyway. Certainly won't want to lose Rayan. Bournemouth, they're already without Junior Krupi for some months because of an injury suffered in pre-season. Expected to keep him out for 3 or 4 months, though probably won't be seen until October, November time. He's out on this near side. It's going to be a throw to Bournemouth. Conceded by, in fact, it's a free kick. It's been conceded by Phil Foden. Enzo Maresca getting a point across to somebody in his technical area. Manchester City have stepped in and won the ball. Bournemouth got a foot in and slowed the attack, but that's a miscontrol from Nico O'Reilly. Prefer running forward for Bournemouth. It's the wrong side of Foden temporarily. Foden recovers his ground. So Bournemouth have to go back to Tavernier. Here is Lewis Cook now. And he lays it off for James Hill. Bournemouth have got every one of their players inside the City half, so shows they have some ambition, but they're forced to go back to Petrovic. All in yellow today is Jordi Petrovic. There's Lewis Cook once more. Up to the far touchline of Rayan. Rayan's played a lovely ball forward. Bournemouth could be in behind here. They pulled the ball back to the edge of the penalty area, but that's good defending by Elliot Anderson on the edge of his own box to snuff out the danger, but Bournemouth got in down the right-hand side. It was a lovely early ball from Rayan. I think it was Justin Kluivert who was bursting down that right-hand side. Bournemouth getting forward whenever they can. Midway point of the first half has been reached. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 0. Pleased to say I'm not expecting any rehydration breaks, as we saw at the World Cup in the summer. Or should that be commercial advert breaks? Sorry, another pet hate of mine. All over the top from Gahey towards Erling Haaland, but again, Silva's done well. Prevented it from reaching the Norwegian. Jordi Petrovic clears. Josko Vardiol on the halfway line now. Form edge to City. Kusanov inside to Elliot Anderson. Anderson forward towards O'Reilly. Gahey steps in, does well. Looks to play it out to the left-hand side. Here's Semenyo. They're doubling up on him, but he's running towards the byline. He's got there. And there's a challenge come in on him. Semenyo's gone down off the pitch. I think the referee's given a goal kick? Well, what's the decision here? Semenyo went down. Let's have a look. Oh, it was a really good challenge. In actual fact, I think it's Rayan that's eventually put in the challenge. Should be a corner kick. Should definitely be a corner kick to Manchester City for Rayan's challenge. But it wasn't given. So Manchester City lost out there. Definitely should have had a corner. The goal kick was given. Seems to be one of the weird things at the moment. You can be awarded a corner and it can be overruled if it was a goal kick, but not the other way round. Another Ridiculous rule from the FA. But there we are. They've got to pay them for something. Here's Lewis Cook. And it's played all the way back to Petrovic, who for a minute he'd taken a heavy touch there and played his team into trouble, but they've kept possession of the ball. And the ball is played up the right-hand touchline by Smith. Will it run for Rayan? Yes, he's screened it away and played it out wide. Across the box it goes, and that's 1-0. Bournemouth are ahead. That's a lovely finish. It's Tavernier at the far post, completely unmarked, to plant the ball past Donnarumma. And that's put the cat amongst the pigeons at the Etihad on the opening day of the season, Premier League season for Manchester City. Not the sort of start that Enzo Maresca would want. I think there's an inquest going on in the dugout, and so there should be, because Manchester City's defence was absent without leave. Lovely football from Bournemouth. They played out from the back. The ball was played forward. Two City defenders, I think, got in each other's way. They allowed Rayan to release the ball, and the cross came in, and Tavernier finished it unerringly. Excellent finish at the far post. Lovely cross from Ivan Nilsson. Tavernier did the rest. And Bournemouth lead 1-0 at the Etihad. No chance for Donnarumma at all. Marco Rose lets out a roar. And his side, who should have been behind when Erling Haaland fluffed his lines, are now ahead. Well, well, well. Who had that on their Premier League bingo card today? Marcus Tavernier puts Bournemouth ahead at the Etihad Stadium. What will City do now? Here's Antoine Semenyo to run at Smith again. Good challenge by Clivert, who was back helping his captain. He's lost the ball though. Semenyo's got it back. Oh, but he ran out of pitch. He looked to take on Smith. Went down under the challenge of his former skipper. Referee gave a goal kick. Smith was annoyed with Semenyo for making something of the challenge. Looking at the replay again and wondering if there's a little tug of the shirt here on Antoine Semenyo. But was it enough? Enzo Maresca thought it was. He was asking for a penalty, but it's not going to be given. If VAR looked at it, they've waved it away. And here come Bournemouth again with the goal scorer, Tavernier. Here's Trafford. Trafford inside. Picked up by Lewis Cook. Now Antonio Silva. Tavernier once more. Well, Manchester City, hammered by Arsenal in the Community Shield and failing to score, have drawn a blank so far here in the first half, and they're trailing again on the first day of the Premier League season. Here is Mark Gahey to Elliot Anderson. Anderson was taken late there after the ball had gone. The referee has awarded a free kick there. Has a little word with Ivan Nilsson and says, don't go charging in. Ruben Diaz throws in his 6 pennyworth, and I think he's going to be told by referee Gareth Gillett that he's refereeing this game, not the Manchester City number 3. And that's quite right. Just had a quiet word with Ivan Nilsson. I think Diaz was looking for more than that and trying to pressurise the referee into a yellow. At least he didn't wave an imaginary yellow card, which irritates me intensely. Here's a cross from Rico Lewis. It's headed away by Nico O'Reilly, headed away by Trafford. Well, they haven't cleared their lines though, and Lewis has got onto it by the byline, flicked it inside. Here is Gahey looking to turn in the box, but doesn't manage to do so. Almost run the ball away from the danger area, and Anderson brings down Scott and concedes a free kick. We've almost reached the half-hour mark at the Etihad Stadium. And the shock news from here is it's Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. 2-0 to Brighton against Aston Villa, although I think there's now been another goal at Brighton. And Brighton have made it 3. My goodness me. Aston Villa are all over the place on the opening day. They started last season badly, and they are at the moment being taken to the cleaners by Brighton. That's another goal for Kopish, is it not? But anyway, it's Brighton 3, Aston Villa 0. Which is an ugly scoreline if you're Unai Emery. But Enzo Maresca has things to worry about here too. There's Antoine Semenyo playing the ball backwards. Mark Gahey, 15 yards outside the box. Gives it to Kusanov. Here's Ruben Diaz. Manchester City trying to squeeze Bournemouth into their final third. Diaz has played the ball across to Phil Foden. Foden chips it into the area. Doesn't reach Erling Haaland once more. Yet again. So, again, it comes to nothing as of yet for Manchester City. Here is Elliot Anderson. Good ball between the lines to Rico Lewis. Foden for once gets away from Trafford. Challenge comes in on the edge of the box. Bournemouth look to run the ball away, and they can do so, and that's a good ball forward. They could be in trouble here again, City. That's a good stretch from Josko Vardiol. So if he hadn't got anything on that, Graham was away and clear. Here comes City again, storming forward. Elliot Anderson. Foden, back to Anderson. 10 yards outside the Bournemouth penalty area. Laid back to Ruben Diaz. To his left is Mark Gahey. Further left is Semenyo, trying to run between two defenders, and they've seen him off. Well, they've increasingly marked him well in this first half. He played forward up the right-hand channel. Diaz sees off Eva Nilsson's threat. And City try and build again with Elliot Anderson. Anderson running left to right through the centre circle. Gives it to Foden. Anderson again. Anderson feeds it forward. He was looking to play it over the head of Antonio Silva to the run of Haaland. That didn't work. But here's Lewis playing it across the box. Scuffed away by Bournemouth. Haaland now on the edge, trying a shot. It was blocked off. Two defenders threw themselves in the way of it, and now Tavernier will lead the counter-attack. It's got no help, though. And a heavy touch allows Kusanov to come across and win the ball back for Manchester City. 33 minutes played at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1 on this first Sunday of the Premier League season. Still some more action to come in the Premier League. Newcastle against Liverpool follows at 4:30. You can join my colleague David Windsor for that. If you've still not had enough football this weekend, we've got La Liga action with Elche against Barcelona at 8:30. Sam May, the commentator in the chair on that occasion. And of course, the Premier League schedule still won't be completed for the weekend because Fulham play Chelsea tomorrow night in the West London derby. Joshua Adudonka is your man in charge for that. Phil Foden has just run the ball over the dead ball line for a goal kick. Enzo Maresca takes a swig of water. The way this first half has panned out, he might wish he had something a little stronger in that bottle. As his team trail 1-0. And his star striker Erling Haaland has put in a candidate for miss of the season already. A really extraordinary happening from the cross by Rico Lewis, which he looked all over certain to score from inside the 6-yard box and didn't even get enough on it to force a save. Here is Alex Scott for Bournemouth. Marcus Tavernier just over the halfway line. stops his run. Just plays it back to Scott once more. Scott has it on this near side. Plays it down the line. Trafford is giving chase. He's not quick enough to catch that one. And the ball is out for a goal kick. Well, City substitutes watching on. Jack Grealish among them. Ran Cherky as well. So he has some creators on the bench. Does Enzo Maresca if he wants to change this up, and he might need to. The way it's panning out so far. Semenyo going for another run down the left-hand side. He's played it to Rico Lewis. Lewis can cross towards the far post. Open couldn't pull the ball down. It was slightly behind him. He's played it back to Rico Lewis though. Cross comes in. It's over the head of Haaland and it's headed out on the far side for a throw. Well, that was good link-up play between Semenyo and Nico O'Reilly down that left-hand side. It's where most of the Manchester City threat has come from, down that particular side of the pitch. City come again. 9 minutes to half time. They trail 1-0. There is Ruben Diaz. Oh, that's too short. Too short for Anderson, who's pulled his man back. That may be the first yellow card of the afternoon. It isn't. I'd quite like to know why, because Even Wilson was threatening to break forward there, and Anderson rather cynically pulled him back by the shirt. I think he's got away with it, and I'm not sure why. The referee's just had a word in his ear and said, "Don't do that again, son," but in the rules, I'm pretty sure that's a yellow. There is Erling Haaland trying to get on the ball. We haven't seen an awful lot of him so far. Firmino plays the ball inside. Here's Josko Vardiol. And now Mark Gahey. Gahey to Semenyo. City looking to probe, looking to find a way in. Haven't done so as yet. Played back to Ruben Diaz. Diaz gives it to Anderson. Anderson to Foden on this near touchline, trying to stretch the Bournemouth defence from side to side, but hoping well so far, Marco Rose's side. Come to the far side now, and Nico O'Reilly. Back to Elliot Anderson. Chipped forward by him in the direction of Rico Lewis. He didn't get there first though, and the ball's out on this near side for a throw to Bournemouth. So Phil Foden will take the... it's a throw to Bournemouth. Foden looked as if he wanted to take a throw, but it wasn't his throw to take. We'll play back to Petrovic, who's been put under severe pressure by Erling Haaland. That was good work by the centre forward. It's forced Petrovic to kick it out on the far side and see the throw. So City with another chance to come again. 7 minutes to half time. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. That's good play by Gahey down this left-hand side now. He's being policed by Alex Scott and Adam Smith, but he got the ball back to Semenyo. Now Ruben Diaz dinks the ball into the penalty area. There's the head. It's a good save by Petrovic. That was better from Haaland. He got plenty behind that header. Pretty sure it was sneaking inside the post. And Petrovic scrambled over, got a left hand to it and pushed it wide. Threat from Manchester City, who have a corner on the right. To be taken by Phil Foden. Foden swings it in. It's headed away from inside the 6-yard box. Tavernier will attempt to run it clear. The scorer of the goal. He's got beyond Elliot Anderson. Still running forward, Tavernier. Plays it across. He's found his man. And a shot comes in. Oh, my word. That's a lovely effort. Goodness me. That's really good football from Bournemouth. And that's only a whisker wide. In fact, it was even Nielsen that had led the charge out of defence. Tavernier tried to bend it in. It's a little bit further away than I thought initially, but probably a yard wide. Another tremendous counter-attack from Bournemouth. He's got pace to burn and the confidence to hold on to the ball. Forward from Foden, but doesn't find its intended target. Prefer picks the ball up. There's a City handball in the midst of that, but because Bournemouth had kept possession, Gareth Gillett allows them to play on. Out onto the far side, Alan Smith forward. Here's Rayan to run against his man. Comes in field. That's a lovely ball from him. Here's a chance for Kluivert. Saved by Donnarumma. Pushed out with his left hand, but it's Bournemouth who are creating the better chances here at the Etihad. Plenty of chances too. Well. Bournemouth have had more clear opportunities than their rivals in this first half. And you wouldn't have expected that. City seem to be being undone for pace at the back. That's a ball forward which is going to be too long on this occasion by Bournemouth. But some lovely football being played by the Cherries. That was Kluivert's shot kept out by Donnarumma's left hand. He only pushed it back out into the centre of the area, so if it fallen to a Bournemouth foot, it may well have been 2-0. The City have work to do here. 3.5 minutes to half time. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. Marco Rose could not really have scripted this first half much better. The City have won the ball high up the pitch. Can they do something dangerous on this occasion? Elliot Anderson plays it inside. Phil Foden out to Semenyo on the edge of the area. Semenyo steps inside and then outside. Good challenge once again by Bournemouth, keeping their eye on the ball amid Semenyo's trickery. Here is Mark Gahey on the ball for City. Elliot Anderson. Now Ruben Diaz. Josko Vardiol, every Manchester City player in the Bournemouth half. Here's Kusanov. Kusanov looking to find a way forward once again. He's out on this near side. Throw to Manchester City. Bournemouth have nearly got to the sanctity of half-time with a goal lead. And I don't think, on the balance of play, you can say they don't deserve it. They've had plenty of chances. It's been a very good half of football from them. Less so from Manchester City. Here's Kusanov, looking to try and level things up before the break. Phil Foden, back to Elliot Anderson. Lifts the ball into the area, over the head of O'Reilly. Falls to Gahey, now Semenyo just to the left of the penalty area. Gahey once more, chips it into the box, and it's headed away by Trafford at the expense of a corner kick. Corner kick to Manchester City. They've had several from this right-hand side, haven't been able to profit from them really. Another in-swinger from Phil Foden incoming. Everybody getting organised in the penalty area. In it comes, towards the back stick. Yeah, he rises. Will it fall for Haaland? He tried to turn on it, and the ball's gone behind. The goal kick's been given. Killed it enough to put him off on that occasion. Good header back into the penalty area by Mark Gahey. So again, Haaland couldn't profit. 27 goals in the Premier League last season. He's missed a glorious chance to get off the mark in this campaign in the first half. Headed away by Manchester City. Forward again by Rayan. Picked away by Kusanov. Towards Haaland on the halfway line. Haaland looks for O'Reilly. Down under challenge there did Haaland, but nothing given by referee Gareth Gillett. Now he has given a free kick for a challenge on Gahey, and a Bournemouth player's gone down off the ball. Bournemouth players are claiming that there's been some sort of elbow. First melee of the season here at the Etihad. Gilley sending everybody away from him, and then he's going to decide who he wants to talk to. Maybe he's trying to listen in. He seems to have Ruben Diaz and Adam Smith in attendance. It all started from a challenge on Haaland where no fouls given. Hill and O'Reilly then clashed. O'Reilly and Kluivert then had a set to. Eva Nielsen putting a challenge on Gahey. And Bournemouth were annoyed that Kusanov came in off the back of that and stuck his elbow in the face of Eva Nielsen. I think it was a very wise move by Josko Vardiol, but I think Eva Nielsen made a three-course meal of it. He's actually been booked as Eva Nielsen as a result of that. And I suspect Vardiol might have got a caution as well. I'll try and confirm that for you. Seems a bit strange to caution one and not the other. Anyway, here's Manchester City. We're in stoppage time at the end of the first half, and we've only got a minute of it. Here's Lewis trying to create one more chance for City. Cross into the penalty area, headed away. City come again. We've already played the minute, in fact. Lofted in again, caught by Petrovic, and surely that will be the half-time interval. Petrovic holding on to the ball, being counted down by referee Gillett. He's just rolled it out in front of him and booted it forward. Still City win the ball back, and still we play on. So maybe one more chance is available to Manchester City. Here's Nico O'Reilly out to Semenyo. Can he get one more ball in the box before half-time? Bournemouth half stab it away. Crossed in from the left. Haaland heads it back. Player goes down around the area of the penalty spot. Nothing given thus far by referee Gillett. Manchester City win the ball again. They've won it illegally, I think. Referee has stopped play. Maybe he wants to have a look at this incident in the middle. Haaland won the ball, headed it down towards Rico Lewis. The challenge was by Scott. And I think the referees decided that there was not sufficient in it, and he's blown for half-time. Well, what a first half for Marco Rose on his bow as Bournemouth manager. His side have been tigerish. They've been the more dangerous. They took the lead from a tremendous counter-attack. Marcus Tavernier at the far post, completely unmarked, to finish a cross by Eva Nielsen. And they could have had more. Rayan had one shot saved by Donnarumma, and Kluivert had another. At the other end, Manchester City, a shot blocked from Rico Lewis, but a glaring miss from, of all people, Erling Haaland, who didn't get enough on the ball with any part of his anatomy with the goal gaping. So at half-time, it's Engo Maresca with the... Right. It's a bit Well, welcome back everyone. Second half of our Premier League coverage of Manchester City and Bournemouth. Manchester City just kicking off in the second half with it all to do because they trail at half-time at the Etihad by 1-0. A goal from Marcus Tavernier. A brilliant counter-attack goal by Bournemouth. This after Erling Haaland had missed a sitter from a cross from Nico O'Reilly from the left-hand side. And really, Bournemouth might have had more than one. Both Rayan and also Justin Kluivert have gone close in the first half for a Bournemouth side who've been fearless, defended well and counter-attacked with relish. What can Manchester City do at the start of this second half? Here's Ruben Diaz on the ball for them. He finds Kusanov. Kusanov forward to Rico Lewis, who played inside. Phil Foden came deep, got a touch. Ball's played out to Lewis once more by Elliot Anderson. Now to Guéhi on the edge of the box. Guéhi's spent more time in midfield than he has at the back today for Manchester City. Not yet to tremendous effect, it has to be said. Here he is again, Guéhi, 10 yards forward of the centre circle. Just sends it to his right. Kusanov now. Rico Lewis. Elliot Anderson's found a little bit of room. Tried to cross towards Erling Haaland, but it didn't reach the Norwegian. Trafford will now play the ball down the touchline as Bournemouth attempt to counter-attack once more. That one comes to nothing. Ball breaks for Mark Guéhi, who's actually wearing a bandage on his left hand. I didn't actually notice that in the first half, so whether that's something that happened during the first half and was attended to at half-time, I'm not entirely sure. Just to say that at the in the other Premier League game kicking off at 2 o'clock, Aston Villa have had a nightmare against Brighton. They trail 4-0 on their travels. 2 goals for Hinchelwood, 1 for De Kuyper, and an own goal by Lindelof. If that wasn't bad enough, João Gomez was sent off in the first half for a second football offence. So 4-0 down and a man down. Villa can write that one off and start again next week. Anyway, ball is back with Donnarumma, who plays it to his left-hand side. Manchester City searching for a way forward. Semenyo had a little bit of joy down the left-hand side against his old club in the first half. He's been fouled there by James Hill. Free kick taken, and Semenyo's back on the ball. Back to Josko Vardiol. Floated out to the far side. And it's going to be allowed to drift out of play on that far side by Trafford for the throw-in to Bournemouth. Well, Marco Rose is the fifth manager to play their first Premiership game away at Manchester City. His four predecessors haven't had much luck. 1 draw and 3 defeats. So he will achieve something that nobody else has done if his side can keep the lead through this second half. But Manchester City have only once failed to score in their last 27 competitive games. So you have to feel that they will score at some stage. But it didn't look ultra threatening in the first half, apart from Haaland's glaring miss and a chance for Rico Lewis that was blocked by the legs of Jordi Petrovic. There is Semenyo once again on this near side now, the City left. Played back to Josko Vardiol on the halfway line. Ruben Diaz keeps it working along that halfway line to Kusanov. Out wide now to Phil Foden, who's been on that right-hand side, but not got a lot of change out of Adrien Truffert. He's tried to play a ball to this near side. It's woeful from Foden. A boy who probably a year ago would have been expecting to go to the World Cup with England, and of course he didn't. He wasn't in Thomas Tuchel's final squad, and not much in his thinking, it would seem. Ryan Cherky and Jack Grealish are amongst those warming up on the sideline, so there may be a change before too very long for Manchester City. We can't find a way past this disciplined Bournemouth defence as yet. Here is Guéhi for a pass from Haaland. Finds Semenyo, who looks to take on Smith again, but Smith does well, just moves across his path. He says the last touch came off the Bournemouth defender, though, who I think wanted a foul. I think he felt he was bundled to the ground. I'm not convinced it was a corner kick anyway. I thought the last touch had come off Semenyo, so Bournemouth will be aggrieved if Manchester City score from this particular set piece. It's a corner on the left, 5 minutes to the second half gone. City 0, Bournemouth 1. Elliot Anderson to take this one. Right footed in swing, and it comes, and Guéhi rises and somehow misses. Well, Manchester City have had 2 gilt-edged chances in this game. One to Haaland in the first half, and that one to Mark Guéhi, who was unmarked in the 6-yard box and failed to hit the target. Well, I'm afraid that's another sitter. 2 sitters missed by Manchester City, and as a result they still trail by 1-0. All the City fans had already gone up behind the goal to claim the goal, and the net failed to bulge. Here they come again though with Semenyo. Semenyo steps inside and then outside Smith. He's forced out of the penalty area once more though, and the attempted 1-2 with Josko Vardiol comes to nothing, and that will be a goal kick. Well, Mark Guéhi will wonder how on earth he's missed that chance. He really will. Came across to him. I think he tried to flick it in the far corner, and all he really needed to do was let it hit his head. Didn't need any angle. He just needed to let it hit his head, and it would have gone into an empty net. Instead of which he tried to angle it, and it went wide. City have forced another corner though. That's Antonio Silva. So they are mounting some sort of pressure at the start of this second half. Foden with the corner kick taken short to Anderson. Foden's on it again, swings the ball in towards the far post, headed down, hooked away by Bournemouth. almost to the halfway line. Kusanov will retrieve it and play it to his right to Rico Lewis, who is the other man who stayed deep on the corner kick. Lewis now on the halfway line to Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Nico O'Reilly in a lovely run to set up the chance for Haaland in the first half, Nico O'Reilly. But haven't really seen enough of him in that midfield role as yet today. Oh, that's a poor pass from Ruben Diaz. He's given the ball away. Even Nielsen seized it, plays it inside. Ryan manages to get something on the ball, but Manchester City toe in the ball away. Here's Haaland on the halfway line. Not seen much of him so far. Plays the ball inside. Out to the near touchline now, and Semenyo from O'Reilly. Semenyo was looking for room for the shot but didn't find it. And then he tried to go outside Smith and he fouled him. Bundled him over. He says Smith had hold of his shirt. Referee not interested. And I must admit, I thought Smith dealt with that pretty well. Let's have a look at it again. Well, Smith did have a grab hold of his shirt, in fairness to Semenyo. Actually, he did. I mean, that's... well... I don't know what is a foul these days and what isn't. Semenyo was right, though. Smith did have a handful of his shirt. But the referee has decided that Smith was in control of the ball anyway, and therefore he wasn't going to take any further action. But slightly risky from Adam Smith. But it remains Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. Almost 10 minutes into the second half. Enzo Maresca's foul at the Etihad Stadium is not going to plan. Didn't play forward, but out by Antonio Silva. Haaland made a run behind him, so he needed to deal with it with the former Benfica man, and he did so. The referee has asked for a throw-in on the far side for Manchester City to be taken again. Rico Lewis has the ball in his hand and throws it short. Elliot Anderson tries to get up the line, but runs out of room, and Bournemouth win the ball back. They've been very calm on the ball, have Bournemouth, in this game. They've not been at all daunted by being at the Etihad Stadium so far. Away by Petrovic, over the halfway line, headed forward by Roscoe Vardiol. Well, we're going to get some changes. It's Matheus Nunes who's being prepared. He's going to come on for Rico Lewis. So I think there'll be a little reshuffle of personnel. Playing Lewis out on that right-hand side has not worked for Manchester City. Matheus Nunes is on and presumably will fill a similar role. He's usually a right back, is Nunes, but will, I think, play the right midfield role for the rest of this game. That's good, strong play by Ryan to win a throw on this near side. Taken by the skipper Smith. We might be getting a countdown from referee Gillett in a minute. He's thrown the ball in though. Steven Nielsen chested it down, played it back to Cook. Cook to Hill. Scott gets another touch. Hill once more. Short of halfway, all of this. Cook back to Hill. Well, short for Alex Scott. And then all the way back to Jordi Petrovic. 3 minutes short of the hour. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. Make no mistake, Bournemouth are worthy of this lead. Do not adjust your set. This isn't a fluke. Well, do not adjust your earpiece. You did hear me correctly. It is Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. And Manchester City not creating enough opportunities, really. However, Erling Haaland's last 5 goals have come after the hour, and we're almost up to that now. Here is Matheus Nunes for the first time, gets away from his man, crosses the ball in. It's over the head of Erling Haaland, and Semenyo couldn't get a clean contact on it. It's out for a goal kick. Haaland picks himself up in frustrated manner. With 2 men on him. Stomach sandwiched between them. And Hill and Smith did enough. Semenyo couldn't get his foot on the ball. Long kick from Petrovic. Even Ilson does well. And that's surely a foul by Gahey. It is. There's a foul by Gahey, which gives Bournemouth a free kick. Only 15 yards outside the Manchester City penalty area. Maybe a little more. A little more than that. Probably 10 yards forward of the centre circle. Little committee meeting about the free kick. Involving Scott and Clivert. Clivert's moved away. Got now in control of the ball. Plays it short. Back to the halfway line. Here's Hill. Hill to Smith. Back to Hill once more. Petrovic now 10 yards outside of his own penalty area. City not really putting him under a huge amount of pressure. Inks it out to the left-hand side. Now City are closing in a little, trying to prevent Bournemouth playing out from the back. And I think Petrovic will just go long if he has to. Doesn't yet though. He finds Cook. Played out to the far touchline. Silva stabs it forward. Bournemouth being very confident on the ball. Not overawed at all being at the Etihad Stadium. Don't forget, a Bournemouth side has never got a point at the Etihad Stadium, let alone 3. But they are just over half an hour plus stoppage time away from achieving that very feat. Marcus Tavernier is brought to the ground again by Elliot Anderson, who got the worst of the challenge, I think. Oh, something's kicked off. Matthias Nunes has into a little bit of a fracas with Eva Nilsson. Elliot Anderson is still down after that last challenge. He's getting to his feet now. It's just an impact issue. I think he got a knee in the thigh from Marcus Tavernier on the follow-through. Referee's actually given the free kick to Manchester City. I thought he'd given it the other way. Could have been either way, really. They both collided with one another. Manchester City struggling to create any chances at all here. Can't think of a decent chance in this second half. And that won't lead to one either. It's a long ball forward which skips on beyond Antoine Semenyo and out for a goal kick. And Elliot Anderson's gone down again with this knock in the thigh. He's got a dead leg of some sort. Ryan Cherky has been summoned from the substitutes bench and he's getting his shirt off. I don't know whether he'll come on for Anderson or whether they'll need somebody else as well, but Anderson looks like he's in a problem here. So I think his race for the afternoon might be run. And we'll hope that's nothing too damaging. I think it's probably a dead leg. It seems to have a knee in the front of the thigh. I'll be hoping it's not hamstring related on the other side or something in the groin, but I think he's going to call it a day for the afternoon. The £116 million man goes off in the week that Robbery left for Barcelona. Nico O'Reilly's going off as well. So, big changes for Manchester City. Ryan Cherky and Kopish have come onto the field. I thought there was a third change there as well for Manchester City, but I might be wrong. Let's have a look. No, it's just Cherky and Kopish for Anderson and O'Reilly. So a little bit more forward thrust from Manchester City in terms of Ryan Cherky. Anderson is shaking his head. So he's clearly not happy. Manchester City will hope that that's not a serious issue. Petrovic restarts the game with a goal kick. Header by Bournemouth. Header for City now. Head tennis. Eva Nielsen tries to bring the ball down, but he loses out on this occasion. Here is Haaland. Haaland trying to spray it to this near side to Semenyo, but Smith was in the way. Manchester City not getting any change out of Bournemouth at the moment. 63 and a half minutes played at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. I wonder what year Manchester United and Manchester City both lost on the opening day of the campaign. Well, City haven't lost yet, of course. Never write them off. Matheus Nunes gets the ball back to Gianluigi Donnarumma. Donnarumma starts City moving forward again. Ruben Diaz towards the halfway line, and Josko Vardiol returns it to Diaz. Diaz now square for Kusanov. Kusanov towards the halfway line. Almost get a header in, but it falls back into City possession. Yeah, he has to be careful under pressure, but he is. Oh, that's given away though by City again. Diaz concedes possession back to Bournemouth. He'll be quite content to hold on to it. They don't have to do any more in this game. They only have to see the game out, really. That's loose though from Alex Scott. Plays the ball away. They've managed to get it back again though, Bournemouth. Manchester City 7 shots to Bournemouth's 4, but only 2 on target to Bournemouth's 3. Only 4 touches in the opposition box, Bournemouth, but they've been ruthless. Here's Rayan now trying to run to the byline once more. He dummied the ball, but unfortunately I think he forgot that he had the last touch. And so trying to restart the connection again here. I think we're back with you. Manchester City running forward with Erling Haaland, puts the ball into the box, but Petrovic is out to smother the opportunity. So still no joy for Manchester City. Bournemouth have the ball back. Deep inside their own half, Adam Smith sprays it out wide. Here is Treffer, and the ball inside to Scott. Scott with the ball from left to right. Rayan takes it down on his knee, plays it back into the path of James Hill. And now they work it to the far touchline. Bournemouth just don't look inconvenienced at all by Manchester City at this point. They really don't. They look like they're knocking the ball around quite comfortably. Guehi goes in though, wins the ball. There's a collision. Guehi goes down. It will come to Semenyo. Good save by Petrovic. That was a chance. Guehi's picked himself up off the floor. I don't know whether there'll be some retrospective action because the ball hasn't gone dead since that happened. He was taken late, Guehi. The ball is now played to Matheus Nunes. Phil Foden. Still Manchester City probing, looking for an opening. Josko Vardiol back to Ruben Diaz. Now Kovacic. Kusanov out wide on the right hand side to Matheus Nunes. Nunes is looking for his next pass, finds it with Kusanov. Ruben Diaz in the centre circle. Now Kovacic once more. Oh, Kovacic very nearly played that ball too short back to Diaz. Fortunately, the Manchester City man was on his toes. Gahey now to... Oh, the shot comes in, it's deflected. That was Cherky teeing up Phil Foden. A shot from the edge. Tried to bend it into the far corner. Didn't manage to find the target, but it was deflected. It will be a corner to Manchester City. We're past the three-quarter mark of the game. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 1. Here is the corner. Into the melting pot. Headed away again by Bournemouth. They've defended magnificently when they've had to. They've generally protected Petrovic pretty well. That save from Semenyo, the first one he's really had to make in this half. Bournemouth try and run the ball over the halfway line, but Gallagher gets his legs into a bit of a tangle. His feet, anyway. Runs it out for a throw. City have already taken that. Here's Kovacic. Back to Cherky. Cherky runs in field. It's really running horizontally into the centre circle. So he wasn't going forward in any way. Managed to keep the ball though. Ball is back with Ruben Diaz. Can Manchester City find a way through? At this point, I wouldn't have a lot of money on it, I have to say. But holding them at arm's length pretty well. Manchester City have it again though. With Kovacic square. Kusanov ventures over the halfway line. He's got man outside him, that's Cherky. Cherky attacks the box now. Policed by Tavernier. Scorer of the only goal of the game. Ball out to Kusanov. Here's Kovacic again. That's a good ball to Gahey. Gahey, ball between the lines. Cherky can pull it back from the byline. Stabbed away by Bournemouth. That was better from Manchester City. They found a little bit of room. Bournemouth clear long, but there's nobody sufficiently far forward to get onto the ball, so Manchester City have it back. This is where Bournemouth need to be careful about dropping too deep now and inviting constant pressure. Temptation to do that when you've not won at the Etihad Stadium must be huge, but they must try and guard against that. Here are Manchester City again, looking to build from the back. Again, Bournemouth get a foot in, stab it back into the City half, and now City have given the ball away, giving it away to Tavernier, who tries to hold off Gahey, and heads out wide, puts the ball across. Ruben Diaz is in the way, so doesn't reach the two men who were in the box in a red and black shirt. Rayan and Justin Kluivert were both in there, but neither could get on the ball. There is Mark Gahey now. Gahey just touches it to his right-hand side. Matheus Nunes looking to drive forward. Plays it out wide. That's good play. Here's Phil Foden. Foden on the edge of the penalty area. Plays it back to Nunes. Now to Cherky. Can Haaland get a shot off? Well, he did, but he couldn't keep it down. It's over the bar. Good feet from Haaland. He couldn't keep the shot down. Cherky found him with a lovely little pass. He was, in the end, knocked slightly off balance was Haaland. Hill celebrated the challenge that he made on Haaland as if he'd scored. And the score remains 1-0. We're going to see a raft of Bournemouth changes as Marco Rose looks to keep his side fresh in what promises to be a demanding last 18 minutes plus stoppage time. They still lead 1-0 through Marcus Tavernier's goal. I think I saw Tyler Adams as one of those on the bench getting ready to come on. Sure who else is in attendance. We'll find out pretty soon when the substitutions are made. Here's Diaz in the meantime for Manchester City. Phil Foden, who's drifted into more of a central area in the last 15 minutes or so. He's been bundled over by Hill. That'll be a free kick. City have taken it already. It's Rancherki. Giving it to Diaz. Now Kovacic. That's a lovely ball by Kovacic to Foden. Foden looked to play it through to Haaland. Thought he was bundled over from behind. Referee Gillett not interested. Lovely ball by Kovacic though. Foden had already played the pass when the challenge came in. It was a pass to nowhere. Not really sparkled again today for Foden. He drew a blank last week in Cardiff with Manchester City against Arsenal. And at the moment they're drawing a blank again. There is Matheus Nunes. Nunes back to Kusanov on the halfway line. Ruben Diaz now. Diaz to Kovacic. Kovacic to Vardiol. Semenyo with a touch. Now Rancherki. Kovacic again. City monopolising the ball, but they're not really going anywhere at the moment. Can their patience pay off? Here's Guéhi. Out to Foden on the far touchline. Guéhi continued his run. He's done well. He's got into the penalty area. Haaland gets a shot on target, but it was really a back flick with the ball behind him from Guéhi's cross. Didn't get any power in it. And Petrovic has fallen on the ball, but that was good by Guéhi. Almost got to the byline on the right-hand side of the box. He dinked the ball back, but it was not really into Haaland's run. And again, didn't get the ball cleanly. And the chance went begging. Looking at it again, yeah, it was slightly behind him. He had to try and drag it from behind him with his right foot. Didn't got enough power in the shot. 75 minutes played, even Nielsen comes off. Here's the first of those changes to be made. And I think Kluivert has departed the scene too. Totti is on, the Hungarian international. So changes for Bournemouth, who are fighting. Substitution for Bournemouth. He lost us for a moment there, apologies for that. A few gremlins in the works early in this Premier League season. With Josko Vardiol. Vardiol back to Ruben Diaz. Diaz out to the far side. Chested down by Manchester City. They've won themselves a free kick. Just inside their own half, but time is beginning to run out. 14 minutes plus stoppage time. Manchester City trail 1-0. Can't yet find a way through. Will their talisman finally deliver? Haaland's got 22 goals in 14 games for Manchester City played in August. So he's used to finding the net early in the piece in the season. He's had a couple of sniffs today, including a gilt-edged opportunity, and he's not managed to take them. 2 shots on target in the second half for City. No shot at all for Bournemouth, but they snuffed out most of the danger from the men in Sky Blue. And they've broken up another attack there with a challenge on Foden, who's just picking himself up off the floor. Bournemouth playing forward from the back once more. Here's Tyler Adams, the USA international. Tackle comes in from Foden, who still feels that he was fouled in that last incident and gesticulates towards the official. We're going to see Jack Grealish as well, so Jose Maresca is certainly playing his creative cards here. The challenge while we were looking at Jack Grealish, which is going to lead to a yellow card. Many of those this afternoon. In fact, Foden is now in the book himself, I think, for a challenge that he's put in. So, not managing to keep his temper in check. Yeah, that's not very good from Phil Foden, to be honest. I think he knows exactly what he's doing there. Left his foot in, so a yellow card for Foden, who's not had a particularly enjoyable afternoon, looks exasperated. Free kick to Bournemouth, it's about 3 or 4 yards in from the far touchline, the Bournemouth left. About 25 yards from the dead ball line. He swung in, left-footed, into the area, flipped header, pushed behind by Donnarumma. Well, I said that they hadn't had an opportunity in this half, but that's Jefferson, I think. I beg your pardon. The flick header came in, pushed away by Donnarumma. Substitute that got the header in. Didn't quite get enough on it. In comes the corner from the left now. Headed over his own bar on this occasion by Ruben Diaz. So the pressure continues. Manchester City are struggling, I think it would be fair to say. Really struggling here. Bournemouth holding them at arm's length pretty well. And at the moment, seeing this game out and doing it very well. From the right this time to come in. A lot of jostling in the penalty area on this occasion. I meant to say Jefferson, of course, rather than Jefferson. So it was Jefferson's header that was kept out. Referee coming in and giving a bit of a lecture to Tyler Adams. Calling one or two players towards him to tell them to calm down a little. Tyler Adams talking in the referee's ear as well. Might hope that that little tete-a-tete with the referee takes a few minutes off the clock. Bournemouth have a corner from the right. They could sew this game up here. Donnarumma trying to clear attacking players out of his way. He's got to be careful with that pushing and shoving. The ball is headed away at the near post anyway. He stops first to it. It gives it back to Jordi Petrovic. Petrovic kicks long towards the left-hand channel. Hooked away by Manchester City and Vardiol. Okay, he can't get onto it though. Bournemouth are first to the ball once more. They just look that little bit sharper, Bournemouth, in those situations. A lot of the 50-50s, they've been first to the second ball. And they've generally kept City at arm's length pretty well. I've not seen it out yet though. 9 minutes to play. Semenyo and Smith both go to ground. I think it's Semenyo that's been penalised. Those two have had quite a battle this afternoon. Phil Foden is being withdrawn, and that's not a great surprise. Got Grealish coming on in his place. Foden gets a hand slap from Enzo Maresca, but really didn't influence the game unduly. Jack Grealish back in a City shirt after being on loan at Everton last season. 30 years old now, 39 England caps. Only 20 years at Aston Villa. Joined City in 2021, but he struggled for a regular spot, which is why he went out on loan. Can he ignite his side in the death throes of this game? They desperately need a goal. They fail by a goal to nil. A couple of big chances for Erling Haaland, but he's not managed to finish them. Glaring miss in the first half. If that had gone in at 0-0, this might have been a very different game of football, but even the great strikers missed them. But here is Haaland, got in ahead of two of his markers. He's still running, Haaland. Ricochets away from him though. He nearly got through there, but Bournemouth might come on the counter-attack now. The ball to Rayan's a poor one. He's been forced out wide, and he's dispossessed of the ball by Josko Vardiol. He gets it inside. And Cherky come deep for the ball. Matthias Younes now runs it forward from the right back spot. Gives it to Semenyo, who's switched over to the right hand side now. In search of some change out of a fullback, but didn't get much out of Smith, and Prefer pretty much marked Foden out of the game. Here we go. Ball played forward. That's a good ball. Can they get the ball across the box? No, they can't, because the block is made. Antonio Silva's had a very, very good Premier League debut. And in the right place at the right time. Almost every time. Away a corner kick, which Cherky will take. Manchester City are 6 minutes plus stoppage time from defeat on the opening day of the season. And that hasn't happened very often at all. Corner comes in again. Yes. Okay, he missed a really, really good chance earlier. Gets into the 6-yard box this time and finishes it off. Manchester City are level. A loss of concentration from Bournemouth from the corner kick. And Gehi, who got loose once in the 6-yard box earlier in the half, has lost his markers again and planted his header past a helpless Petrovic. I don't think anybody marked him at all. It appears that Bournemouth was zonal marking and nobody was anywhere close to him. Yeah, he got the header in. There was a little deflection off Traffeur, which may have wrong-footed Petrovic, but it matters not. Manchester City are level. I was about to remind you that they've lost just one of their last 18 here at the Etihad Stadium. And they are serial winners on the opening day of the Premier League season. Antonio Silva's picked up a yellow card. I'm not sure what that was for. Maybe he was arguing about Samaji Baji at the corner that resulted in the goal. Launch an attack through Rayan. Rayan lays the ball off. It's come to Smith. They have it, Bournemouth, with James Hill. Now, will they be a little cautious now and settle for 1 point? Petrovic to James Hill. Going with a long ball forward into the channel. Chased by Jefferson. Cross comes Vardiol. Vardiol. Well, no foul given by against Jefferson, who appeared to pull Vardiol's shirt. Which City have cleared the ball anyway. With Semenyo up against Traffeur. Runs in field. Traffeur wins the ball back though. Ireland wasn't happy with the challenge, but referee Gillett was. It's done really well, Traffeur. First of all against Foden and then against Semenyo. Two pretty difficult men to mark. Contrasting style. Traffeur's been up to the task with both of them. We've got just over 3 minutes plus stoppage time. Manchester City have finally got level. Can they win it? Will Bournemouth manage to see the game out and get Marco Rose a point in his first game in charge? Long ball forward. Maybe they can get more than the point. Kluivert tries to break onto the ball. Diaz is across. Yours with it. Finds Semenyo. And the referee's whistle's gone. Not sure for what. Maybe there was an offside. Maybe Semenyo had come back from the offside position to play the ball. Bournemouth are going to make a change with just 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time on the clock. The ball went up, but the substitution hasn't yet materialised. We'll fill you in when it does. There's Marcus Tavernier, whose first half goal has now been cancelled out. Here's James Hill. Hill to Smith. Smith tried to poke the ball forward. Manchester City have been penalised for a handball. Handball given against Grealish. Well, we've got Rayan, who's come off. And Ben Gannon-Doak has come on for the last couple of minutes plus stoppage time. The youngster, just 20, Scottish midfielder, 17 caps for Scotland though, despite only being 20. And here come Bournemouth. And they haven't given up a chance, hopes of winning yet. Here is Gannon-Doak into the penalty area, caught by Donnarumma. He bowls it out over arm to Haaland, and Haaland has found Cherky. Haaland's on his bike as well, wanted the ball back, didn't get it. It's been chipped out wide, but Grealish, can he keep it in? No, he can't. Well, I think Haaland wanted that ball back from Graham Cherky. He didn't get it. And Grealish couldn't keep the ball in. On the near side, the City left. A minute plus stoppage time. We've had quite a few substitutions, and we had the injury to Elliot Anderson when he went down and subsequently had to go off, so it wouldn't surprise me if we got 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage time. But we'll see when the board goes up. Manchester City on the ball. There's Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Kusanov. Kusanov striding forward. Tavernier trying to run back with him, but looking a little weary, but he's managed to reach the ball. Hook it away. Out over the far touchline for a throw. Strong recovery run from Tavernier, because he looks second favourite there for a lot of that chase. Firmino now on the ball for Manchester City. Gahey's scorer of the equaliser. Here is Jack Grealish on the near touchline. Coming in field. Stabbing it back into the path of Kovacic. I think it would be pretty cruel on Bournemouth if they were denied any points now, but could still happen. We're playing 3 minutes of time added on, so there wasn't many. We've played 20 seconds. All back to Gahey. Here's Cherky on the edge of the area. Stabs it through. Here's the chance. 2-1. City have won it. Just go Vardiol. No, the flag. There is a flag on the far side. City fans thought they'd won it, but the flag has gone up. And as it stands, Vardiol's goal will not count. Oh, I think he's onside, you know. I think he's onside. I think Hitler's playing him on. VAR are looking at this, and I think Hill plays him on. Well, well, well. It's tight. I tell you, it's tight. Very, very tight. And the referee has stopped play because he knows that VAR are looking at this. I reckon there might be a mighty roar in a minute inside the Etihad Stadium, because I think James Hill may be playing Vardiol onside. This is mighty tight. They might have to draw some lines here. He's given the goal. The goal stands. Vardiol has won it. Surely he's won it. Oh my word, Marco Rose. What must he be thinking? Not long before the end of normal time, his side were going home with 3 points. Now they're going home with nothing. Josko Vardiol celebrates. Enzo Maresca blows a kiss to the crowd. Marco Rose tries to reorganise his side, but as soon as I saw the replay, I just thought, Hill is playing him on. Vardiol finished it beautifully. Great finish. He's a defender, don't forget. His first touch was good, his second touch was better. Just rolled it beyond Petrovic. He had no chance at all. think it may well have gone through the legs of Gannon Doak. He's definitely onside. Probably by a foot or so. And all Bournemouth's good work has come undone. Manchester City, as they always do on opening day, have found a way. And Enzo Maresca looks like making a winning start when it looked, for much of this game, as if his swag bag might be empty. Well, maybe the policeman was right. He shouldn't start from here. Bournemouth, though, have a free kick. They've lofted it towards the edge of the penalty area. It's an offside flag, though. And City can now play out the game. We've actually played the 3 minutes, but of course there was a delay for the VAR check. Goodness me. City have played their get out of jail free card early this season, I tell you. They've missed a couple of sitters. Looked as if it wasn't going to be their day. But they found a way. Goal kick is taken by Donnarumma. Headed forward by Bournemouth. Lofted back towards the Bournemouth penalty area. Grealish has it. It will make towards the corner flag. Smith knows that Bournemouth need the ball. Going to have to make a play for it somehow. And Bournemouth have won it back with Gannon Doak. He's played it down the line, but City are first to it. They've played it off for a throw. They're now in the hands of referee Gillett. We've played 4 minutes of time added on. I think the VAR check would probably have taken about a minute and a half. But we are in the death throes of this game. Bournemouth hoist the ball forward. Was that a push in the back? No, it wasn't, says the referee. Ball played forward. Haaland chases it. Haaland gets onto it, down by the corner flag, plays it back. Ryan Cherky, who made a difference when he came on. It was his pass that released Josko Vardiol. And that's made the difference. And the referee has blown. Heartbreak for Bournemouth. Joy for Enzo Maresca, or should that be relief? Because Manchester City have won at the Etihad on the opening day by 2-1. A result that looked highly unlikely for most of this contest. Bournemouth took the lead in the first half with a rapier-like counter-attack, finished by Tavernier, who was unmarked at the far post. They missed another couple of chances. Rayan and Kluivert forcing good saves from Donnarumma. They offered less of an attacking threat in the second half, but Manchester City, for whom Haaland had missed a sitter in the first half, missed another glaring opportunity when Guéhi headed wide unmarked from a corner. But the former Crystal Palace man atoned when another corner came in late in the piece and he headed home to level up. It looked as though that's how it would stay, but in stoppage time, Ryan Cherky on as a substitute played the ball through in a tight space to Josko Vardiol, who found himself in the centre forward position and finished with aplomb. The flag initially denied him the goal, but VAR checked it and he was proved to be onside. Enzo Maresca gets out of a large hole on the opening day. Bournemouth yet again leave the Etihad with nothing. Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1. Thanks for your company. See you again soon.